Today I'm going to do a tutorial on flash photography, and this is something that I got into a while back, and this will save you a bit of time if you're trying to get into this type of thing. So I'm going to run through the different types of flashes I have, the different modes. So using one flash, using automatic mode, which is called TTL, and then using manual mode, which is called M, and then adding a second flash, which would be TTL in automatic mode. So the two of them will be in automatic mode, and then using the two of them in manual mode, and then seeing what I can do with both modes and the control I have with or without TTL, which is automatic, or M, which is manual. And on top of that, I'm going to run through the modifiers that change the structure of the light, or not the structure of the light, the diffusion of the light, how it's diffused, whether it's hard or soft light. Way to look at hard and soft light is, hard light is sunny day, 12 o'clock on a summer's day, not a cloud in the sky, sun coming down, very, very hard, harsh light. Soft light would be October, November, cloudy day, and the sun is being diffused through the light. It gives you a lot of softer look, and that's what diffusers do. So if you use something like this light is a AD200 Godox, and on the top here it has a bare bulb, but also this comes off and it gives a standard flash. I like this, it just gives a nice little look to it, and I'm going to run through what that does and how the setup is for that. The second flash I have is a Godox again. It's a V1, a really good lens, or a really good flash. There's all sorts of things. The good thing about this thing is it has a modeling light, which is this, and you can turn that up or down. And what that does is before the flash goes off, it kind of gives you a look where the actual flash is going to go beforehand, and you're going to get an idea before you take the flash. So it's a good little thing to have. If you're getting a flash, make sure it has TTL, and because it's a good thing to use. So say for instance, I don't have long to set up for a shot, and somebody wants me to take a portrait, or someone wants me to take a photograph of a room, and I haven't got much time, I can just press TTL. The flash will do all the stuff. I'll just do the settings that I do for the camera and let the flash take care of itself. So onwards and upwards, onto the modifiers. So first let me run through each flash. The flash on the Godox AD200. So the reason why it's 200 watts, the reason why I have this is because if you want to shoot anything outdoors where it's already bright, a big flash like this is the only thing that's going to outpower the sun. You can get bigger ones as well, but it's portable. You can use it indoors, so it's a very versatile light. It's not cheap, so I think they're about 300, 350 quid, but it's versatile. It has a big battery, lasts all day, and the settings are basically, it has a couple of modes: channel, and I'll come to that in a few minutes. It has A, which is whether you're A flash or the B flash, the main flash or the secondary flash, or C. You can have as many as you want, but I generally shoot with two flashes. So this will be my A flash, and the second one will be my B flash. And I'm going to set that up firstly to A, channel 1, and then I'm going to set it up to TTL. TTL mode. Channel 1. And then that does is minus, or else plus. So here we want to get to slave mode, which is this browner screen, and then the mode will be M, multi, or TTL. And then we want slave, channel 1, but we want it in B. So it'll be the second flash. So how this works is on the back of this is an infrared panel. And when the light flashes on the first one, it hits that one and triggers that one. And that's how that works. So modifiers, we'll start with simple things. So this will be the first modifier for the 8200. Pops on it. And then you've got a diffuser, which is this thing here. And that diffuses the light a little bit. And then we have a thing called a grid. And what a grid does is, you can see the way it lets in light. It keeps light going, not spilling off. And I'll show you what happens when that happens. Because if you just have the light going in all directions, I want to control a lot of the time where it goes instead of just filling the whole thing. If I'm doing a group photograph and want to fill the whole thing, great. If I'm doing a subject and I want a little bit more contrasty, I want to control the way the light goes. So I generally put a grid into this and then put the modifier over it. The simplest modifier is this great little thing. It's made by Round Flash, and it's you have one of those. It's a beauty dish. It's a foldable beauty dish, little bar inside, catches, and I just put the flash in here, and it gives me a nice. There's a reason why it's called a beauty dish. With this little black thing here, it stopped this hard light hitting me, and it's kind of only comes from around this part of the modifier. This is a great little thing. The next thing that we can start talking about are umbrellas. Now, umbrellas come in two forms, and I have two of them here. This is the first one. It's a shoot-through umbrella, so it can actually shoot through it. It's translucent. You put the flash on this side, and the light goes through it. Now, here's the thing: the bigger the light source, the softer the light. So if I wanted to shoot like a model, a girl, and I wanted soft, nice light, umbrella costs about $10. Super easy to do. Shoots straight through, gives a big light source, super soft, really good. I have another umbrella, which is a little bit more expensive. It's made by Newer, and this is black on one side and white on the other. This time the flash hits this and comes down. So I would put the flash here, point the flash into it, that fills up the light and blasts it back down. The other things we have are softboxes. So softbox is basically has an umbrella structure, and then this is a long rectangular one with a grid on it. The grid stops the light from spilling off. I like this kind of look. I'll do it with the grid and without the grid. That just peels off. It's all Velcro. But inside that is layers of material, almost like a sheet. Usually they're double layered. Now, when you put this on a flash, you're going to get a lot less light coming out of flash. So everything's going to change the amount of power you're going to need. Also, these have a thing called the Bowen's mount, which for flashes you're not going to get on unless you have a Bowen's adapter. When you put the flash in there, and then you stick this onto here, and then you've got your softbox. Softboxes are also used for continuous light. You might say, well, why don't I use continuous light? I've got a continuous light here. You can see as I get closer to it there. The problem with the continuous light, it's just not bright enough. Secondly, it's going to blind you all the whole time. So if you're doing a person, especially a model, that's going to be in their eyes the whole time. It's annoying. They're hot generally, and at least with the flash, it's just a quick little blast. This is the creme de la creme. This is a parabolic, it's called. It's a big ass diffuser. Got a flash on it. These things are pricey. It's got silver inside, and then it's got two layers of diffusion. And this is a big light source, heavy. You need a good light stand for that. And I'll just show you the difference between them all. There's not much difference, really, when it comes down to it. And you'll see that yourself. People talk about parabolic is much better than in a softbox, much better because it's silver inside, not white. Gives a different type of light. It's not that dramatic. What's dramatic is the difference between a flash without a diffuser or just a flash. So let's get into it. Oh, I'm the model today, unfortunately, because my muse is off on a sabbatical and she's working on flashes and running amok with it and doing fantastic work. So this is one for her, but two also for me, but three, anyone that wants to get into flash photography. And it doesn't matter what the camera is. It doesn't matter what sort of lens it is. If you've got light and you've got a flash, you're going to make phenomenal work. And if you know what you're doing, you can just create amazing stuff, really amazing stuff. So this is the camera I'm going to shoot on. It's the Fuji X-H1. Doesn't really make a difference what you do. So if I take a photograph, the settings I'm at, everything's in manual. ISO 1250, f2.8, and shutter speed 40. Press the shutter, and the image we get is like this. Okay. So if I add a flash into that, it'll just pop whatever in front of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two different things here. I'm going to go from one end of the scale where I only add in the light source myself, and then to the other end of the scale where you can see the background and then I add some light to that. So this one's going to be the first one. So I'm going to change my f-stop to f.8, f.7.1, f8, f9. These are the sharpest for your lenses. I'm going to bring my ISO down to as low as it'll go, which will be 100. And then my shutter speed, because I'm going to do me, I'm going to go f160. It can be anything from shutter speed of 100 to 100 or up to 1200. If I'm doing still life like plants or anything, that doesn't really make a difference, but usually about that. If I take that photograph now, there's nothing, so it's completely black. The first flash I'm going to use is the Godox 8200 with the bare bulb and just that kind of reflector. And I'm going to put the flash directly in front of me. You can see that there's no light coming in on the camera. I'm going to set it to TTL 0, which means average, kind of like it should be perfect exposure. And I'm going to put it straight in front of me and you're going to see what happens. Now, a couple of things making a difference is what you're wearing makes a difference. What the color of the thing that you're shooting makes a difference. At the moment I'm wearing something dark. I'm going to show you something white in a minute. I'm also wearing glasses to show you reflection. And I'm also wearing a white hat. All right, so all these things make a difference. So this will be the first shot with this TTL mode at 0, straight. So that's what that image looks like with straight in front of me. It does a good job, not too overexposed. I'll put the real image up now in a second. So you can see it's straight in front of me. It just gives it kind of flash. Everything else is black in the background. Now I'm going to put the flash at a different angle just to give it more shadow. I'm going to bring the flash off to about 45 degrees. I'm going to bring it down so it's kind of pointing down a little bit less, right there. And then I'm going to go up a little bit higher. Maybe like the rings. So up about there. So it's kind of like coming at me from 10 to. So let's see what this looks like. So it's on a 10-second timer. And you can see that's going to come down. It's going to cause light here, shadow across, still in TTL mode. And now you got a different type of dark on one side, bright on the other. First one, second one an angle. Now it's starting to look a little bit more the sort of shit that I like. It's not as revealing, and the light is around to the side. First flash, and that's pointing this way. Second flash is kind of pointing at the first flash. So, and it's a little bit lower. I'll go a little bit higher and I'll point it slightly down at me as well. So it's directly in line with this one. And this is how this is going to look. So same thing with the camera. Here, here. Two of them are -2 TTL. So there's the difference in that. So let's zoom that in a little bit. See, it's starting to get a little bit of fill on that far side rather than if I just had the first one, which was here. That's -2. That's -2. And you can see the blue LED in the background. And I think that's a much better shot with the 2 rather than just the 1. You can still see that there, the light source, but you can crop that out. Here, it's a little bit hard, a little bit softer, a little bit more favorable. Now I'm going to put this modifier on, which is the beauty dish. Beauty dish should be about 1 o'clock, nice and high, facing down. I've got it on TTL 0, and we're going to leave this here. I'm going to put a different gel on it. I'm going to put like a blue gel just for a little bit of coolness. So it should just stick on, does it? Flashes here, blue flash here. Let's see how it works. Okay. Let's see how that is. So we're here. And yeah, now let's go manual. All right, so we're going to go half power, umbrella, flash. All right, let's see what this is like. And you can see it's very, very soft light. That's a half power. It's very soft. Hits the glass is nice because I'm wearing white. If you look at the other shots I took, that's with the beauty dish, 2 flashes. I still think the best one was this one. For me, I just like those contrasty ones. But you can see how with the umbrella now I'm getting a lot more. There's the umbrella. Soft, nice light. All right, this is actually the first time I've ever shot with this bounce off umbrella. So let's see how it works. I need to get a little bit closer with it because it's around the opposite way. Same power as the first one as the shoot through. I'm expecting it to be a little bit wow, okay. It's a lot brighter, isn't it? So that's with the shoot through. It's a lot brighter. So I need to drop the power on that. So power to 1/4. Okay, let me try it again. So power to 1/4. You'll see me bounce back in a second. A little bit more fill here. Alrighty, let's see how that works. And that's a nice shot. So that's a 1/4 power. I actually like that, that's nice. 2 flashes. That's my favorite one so far. Too much, just about right. They're very similar, aren't they? That's very similar to that. Anyway, we're going to go on the parabolic to finish off. So now I'm going to use this parabolic softbox. You got the 8200 in there, and it's a big bad boy. Inside of it is silver, but you can see the depth of it. It's pretty big.
and deep, and this is a grid so the light doesn't spill. I prefer the grids because I like the contrasty stuff. If you look at the other softboxes, they're not as deep. The light doesn't bounce around as much, and I'm going to put that one on next. And that's another long softbox. And this has been pretty good, this umbrella that you shoot into, because it's just so big and it's going to give a soft light. And I think they're about 20 bucks. The other umbrella's down there. I'm going to light the background in a few minutes. First, let's do a portrait shot with this so you can see just the depth of it. You need a big, strong light stand just to hold the fucking thing. So I'm at half power on this thing here. Let me go. That much away from me. Light's going to come in. And I know I'm going to have shadow on this side. Now let's see. And that is you can see the grid on the glasses. It's kind of cool, isn't it? But that's what you're getting with the. There's not much difference between any of them really. You just get a different look. I'm going to light up the background now. I'm going to put a flash at the back wall. So this is going to be same setup with this light, parabolic, and then the backlight I took off the umbrella. So it should be a harder line on the blue dot that's going to be around the back of my head that's hitting off the back wall, if you get what I mean. And then I'll show you another little trick then. I might have been a little bit too far away from the parabolic, but let's see. Like you move an inch and everything changes, and you can see the line there. It's a bit softer, whereas you can see the kind of blue line here to there. Okay, I'm in the white room and I'm going to shoot with just the initial softbox close to the wall, and you'll see the difference because that's going to bounce off the white in the background. This is where a grid will come in handy. Let's see what that looks like. And you can see the way you got that flash in the background. It's really where a grid comes into play. It's not a nice look. I don't like it. It's distracting from what it is. So what we want is a grid so it doesn't spill over. So put on the parabolic, it's got the grid. So it'll still hit the back, but it won't spill as much. And I've put up the power because there's more diffusion in between it, 2 layers, and then you got the grid as well. So it's up 2 stops. And this is what it should look like. So look, and there you go. And that's what a grid will do. So it's gone from that spill. If I was using an umbrella, that's what you're gonna get. It's not great. It's very distracting. You see a lot of guys just using camera on flash on camera, and it looks like that's shite. You'll see the shadow in the background. Put a grid on. We're back to that again. And then one more shot will be to light the background because I'm closer. So let's do that. Right, so setup is I've added in this blue gel on the flash. It's on a little stand. It's a little bit high, so I think it's gonna, I'm gonna be standing here, so it's gonna be directly behind me, which will be about there, pointing a little bit angled in towards the wall. I'm gonna have my back to it, and then I'm gonna put it on this little stand and put it on the floor, so it just gets more blue light coming up from the top. So I'm about 1 meter from that up, pointing down a little bit. Now let's see what that looks like. Hopefully it went off. I think it did. So let's see. Wow. Okay, that's pretty dramatic. It's just because I'm a lot closer, plus the background is white.
So I hope I didn't lose you too much on that video. It's a long time since I took out all the modifiers that I have. And generally you tend to use the same thing over and over again. So that parabolic, I got that. I was shooting some videos here for McGregor Fast, and I thought it'd be a great modifier to have. And there's a lovely light off it, so I would use that a little bit more. But it's a fucking heavy motherfucker, and you need a really good stand. Probably a C stand. That's probably my next purchase. A C stand. You can angle it more, and you can put sandbags on and keep it down and all that. So it is Saturday night. It is Mr. Colin. The smoking jacket. Thank you very much, Star. I do wear it. It is exceptional. I do like it. It's good, isn't it? Looks good. So everyone's got to have a dressing gown, smoking jacket with the name on it, and a love heart over the eye. And that's just the way it is. So to take away from what I learned there today, and so the bigger the light source, or the closer the light source, the softer the light, and the bigger the light source. So if the light source is this size and you're here, the closer you get to it, it's going to be bigger in proportion to you. As you go away, it's smaller, right? But also a big umbrella will give a lot of spill. It'll give very soft light. And if I want to get more contrasty light and just really isolate what I'm doing, a grid is the way to go. And there was very little difference between all the modifiers. There's a lot of difference in the prices. That parabolic is like 200 quid or something like that. And then the normal softbox you get for 50 quid. The umbrella 10, 15 quid. The biggest one that I thought was great there, and I found it in my mother's when I was in Ireland, I brought it back with me, was that shoot into umbrella. That gave fantastic light, but I can't close it. It must have been sitting there for too long, so I opened it, but I put some WD-40 on it, but there's a mechanism, because they're all like umbrella mechanisms, and I can't close it. So I'm going to have a sauna, I'm going to chill out, I'm going to say a few mantras, and I'm going to start again tomorrow, work hard, get the program going. I'm on Clarence Kennedy's program 7 days now. I took the day off. I was kind of pretty beat up, and I've been adding in some chest and arms as well. So I've been benching again with the chains. The chains with the benching is a game changer, really is, because it kind of like, it's a little bit more unstable, and plus on the bottom it gets a little bit lighter. It's where you need a spot. So I'd recommend the chains if you have some on the bench. It's great. And yeah, that's it. So rock on tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna shoot what I'm doing, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do another video with just some of the training I've been doing this week. I noticed from doing so many lifts, it's taken me 2 hours to each session, even though it's 3 or 4 exercises. It's all the little pre-lifts before that, and I noticed that it's I'm getting a lot more in that week. I've improved, for me, a lot, which is a little bit, which is a lot, and I'm happy with that. So hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you all soon. We are all one. Hare Krishna.